Let's roll. So I'm here with Nick Harris. He's Vice President of Sales and Marketing of North America for Watergen LTD, a very exciting area of atmospheric water generation, a leading company in atmospheric water generation. So Nick, when I see what you're doing, what Watergen's doing, and everything you've got going on globally, actually, it's very exciting to be here with you. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, thank you, Frank. I'm looking forward to it too. Good to have some water cooler talk, so to speak.
For sure.
You don't mind the pun.
So why don't you give us a little bit of background on Watergen as we get started here?
Yeah, sure. So Watergen is we like to think of ourselves as a water technology company. Our main focus, and we've been in business for the last 12 years, is really the development and commercialization of atmospheric water generation solutions and off-the-grid drinking water solutions. So that's sort of our core, and our core technology is obviously atmospheric water generation. We operate across a bunch of verticals. You could categorize those as industrial, commercial, consumer, which is kind of new for us, and we're moving into automotive and mobility very briskly. And I should say, across all of those verticals that Watergen's been involved in, since the company began, we've been very active in humanitarian and emergency relief applications around the globe. So that's a little bit about Watergen.
Good. So on the website, you say Watergen's patented technology creates high quality drinking water out of air for people everywhere.
Yeah.
Talk about that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty packed statement, and
yes,
there's a lot in there if you think about it. And I think from our perspective is that we have a very strong belief. It's part of our kind of core beliefs that we have a collective societal obligation to all citizens on the planet to provide this basic need of life, which is water. So we take that as sort of our number one objective, and realize that may manifest itself in different ways and with different partners. So that's sort of the one element of what we strive to do on a daily basis. I think that kind of pivots a little bit as we move into the consumer markets and even in the commercial market, where for us, it's about bringing the technology closer to all of us, in our homes, on public transport, in cars, wherever we are, wherever we're working, wherever we're playing in certain cases. So it's a little bit of a proximity objective for Watergen is if we're to eliminate the water delivery models through traditional water delivery models, we have to kind of be where people are consuming water. So that's part of that mission statement. And as you know, and I think Frank, from an opportunity perspective, we like to think that we're not really in the realm of reducing and recycling and reusing. There's plenty of folks who are very expert on that, and we admire them tremendously. But we look at ourselves sort of in a slightly different way of actually creating, obviously, a source of water and sort of the paradigm shift that indeed may bring. So between all those things, we think we can get water to places perhaps other traditional means of water can't quite get to.
So talking in that vein, give us a couple of examples of maybe customers in different market segments that you've talked about, and what kind of benefits they've realized from Watergen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's one customer that we're pretty excited about, but the downside is we really can't name them at this point in time. But I will tell you the scenario because I think it's kind of interesting, and they are a very high tech facility, very high profile facility in Texas, and one of the constraints that they have is they're in a very environmentally sensitive area. They're close to the ocean there. Also, the environment, they can't drill, they can't go looking for water, they can't use desalination. and they approached us with an issue. We need water for our facilities, and now zoom forward 6 or 8 months, they actually have upwards of 7 or 8 of our large scale atmospheric water generators, and it's working brilliantly. And they're actually using it not just for drinking water, but for general water applications as well. So in their case, it was able to provide almost complete water independency, if you will, and a degree of water resiliency. So that was one example of a real need that this technology enabled. And I think the other one, which we're very proud of and we think is just the beginning, was an exercise that we did within the Navajo Nations. We actually donated a machine to the First Nations tribe there. And honestly, it was in a place where we wondered whether or not we'd be able to pull any atmospheric water and bring it into drinking water. And happy to say that it actually did and worked very, very well. And that excited us because, up until then, people were traveling miles and miles to get fresh drinking water. So I think that's a beacon of hope for all of us, certainly in this industry and beyond, that this technology can be transformative. It does work. And putting water where water wasn't able to go in the past is, I think, a bit of a win. So we're happy about that.
In your role running the US, it's kind of a small property, but what motivates you every day? What turns you on?
I think for me, it's the technology, and the biggest piece that kind of gets me flying out of bed in the morning is the possibilities. I think it's almost endless, kind of where we can take this, which is a bit of a double-edged sword, obviously. Sure. But I think it goes back a little bit to what we just talked about, was seeing this technology go to places like Navajo Nations where water, or getting water there, was almost impossible. And it's nice to work for a company that, frankly, that's sort of number one for us, is to facilitate that and to work through the details of execution to make those things happen. And it wasn't easy, but that's motivating, and that's really why I get up in the morning and pull my car into the parking lot here.
So Watergen's an Israeli company. That's where it was founded, in Israel, right? But you have a pretty significant presence in the US.
Yeah, we do. Obviously the US is a huge market. We certainly think that from a commercial industrial perspective, there's plenty of opportunity here in the US and all the way down into the Caribbean and so on and so forth. So there's plenty of market to be had. And that's just on the commercial industrial and maybe on the kind of the government side. But the big opportunity here in the US, and what we're looking forward to, is the range of consumer products that we're bringing to market. And that's exciting as well, as to see the technology become more mainstream, to see the technology come into our homes this year, next year, where I think we're going to be a lot closer to atmospheric water generators on a daily basis. So the US is a huge market, and it has tremendous consumer buying power, if you will. And we're pretty excited to leverage that to, again, heighten the awareness of atmospheric water generator is here today, and it works, and you can have it in your home. So that's why we've got a good footprint here in the US.
So you're establishing a relationship with Global Waterworks. There's plenty of organizations out there. And so what I'd say is, why Global Waterworks? What do you see there for you?
Yeah, no, I think that actually might be the easiest question you've asked, Frank. So for us, it's really, you guys create a platform and a forum for very open-minded conversations, which we certainly appreciate, given the fact that we're a newer member to the industry, and at times may even challenge some of the industry norms. So we like the fact that there is that open-mindedness, that collaboration, it feels very organic to a company like Watergen. And we appreciate the time and attention and the support that Global Waterworks has given Watergen. And you've shone the light on us a few times, including today, that we think really, really helps. And we appreciate that.
So back to Watergen, what is maybe the next 12 to 18 months, maybe 24 months? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's going to be, we think as we move into touch wood here, you know, a more stable post-COVID environment, we expect to see a lot of the commercial projects and some of the larger capital projects continue to ramp up. But I think the big focus for us is really going to launching two consumer products, which is the Jenny and very compact mobile box, and launching an additional member to our commercial team, which is what we call our Gen M1, which is actually a single phase atmospheric water generator for the commercial space. And we think that's big news because most of the generators thus far have had to be three-phase atmospheric water generators. So we think this opens up a fair bit of market. So we're going to be pretty busy putting our muscle behind those launches, creating awareness and consideration of the technology, creating awareness and consideration of Watergen and our role within the industry. And ultimately, our goal over the next 12 to 18 months is to widen the circle of awareness and build more advocates for atmospheric water generator. And we think the only way you're going to do that is by giving them a product that works and works well.
Yeah. So, 12 years in business, too many people that we talk to think that next year is going to be the first year for atmospheric water generation, but you've got a global footprint. You've been in business 12 years successfully, and a great, sounds to be a very great product roadmap, moving yourself into the consumer, which certainly will be a vast new market connecting people to their water.
Absolutely.
Nick, thank you so much for your time. Wish you all the best and look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you very much, Frank. Always appreciate it.
You're welcome.